A warm welcome. I'm Sutton, a yoga teacher from North Yorkshire. I'm going to be doing some seated postures with you today. But first of all, we're going to do some breath awareness. So you need to make yourself nice and comfortable. You can either sit with the legs crossed or your legs out in front of you. You may prefer to sit on a chair. I like to sit on a block. And if you use a block, just perch your buttocks on the edge of the block and tilt yourself forward and then tilt yourself back up, and this should give you a nice posture. If you become uncomfortable in the position that you're in now, you could always change it at some point. So now for the hands. You can either rest the hands in your lap, or if you've got your legs out in front of you, you could just rest them lightly on your thighs, or you could just take your hands lightly to the sides of you. If you've got your legs crossed, you might like to place the backs of the hands near the knees and take your index fingers and thumbs together in a hand mudra. And this just helps to circulate energy around your body. Ideally, you want your knees in line with your hips if you're in the cross-legged position. But if your knees are this high, don't worry. You could use some extra blocks or a bolster just to raise yourself that little bit higher, and that will help to take your knees a bit further down towards the floor. The key is to feel comfortable, so please change your position if it starts to become uncomfortable. So we'll start our breath awareness now, closing your eyes if you're happy to. If you'd rather keep them open, then keep nice and upright, but take your gaze to the floor about 3 or 4 feet in front of you, and have a nice soft gaze, as if you're looking at the flame of a candle. Start to breathe in and out through your nose, through the nostrils, if that feels okay for you. And continue to breathe through your nostrils throughout the practice. Just observing your inhalation and your exhalation. And when you're ready, start to deepen your breath. So you're breathing all the way in and all the way out. Breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. This time is for you, so try and switch off. Switch off from the busyness of your day and just focus on your breathing. Use the breath as an anchor throughout the practice to keep you in the present moment. The present moment is all there is. Breath awareness also helps to calm your mind and calm your body. So keep focusing on your breathing. We're going to take our awareness now to the throat and be aware of the air passing through the throat as you breathe in and out. Start to slightly constrict the back of the throat. Start to make a little whisper sound. Try and make your breath sound like the waves of the ocean. this Ujjayi breathing, the victorious breath. Come back to this Ujjayi breathing. When you come into your yogic postures, it'll help to calm your mind and calm your body. But for now, just return to your natural breathing with no effort. Observing the natural rhythm of your breath. And if you've closed your eyes, slowly open them. We're going to come into a twist now, a yogic twist. So, if you've got your legs crossed, the right hand goes towards the left knee, and the left hand just goes to the side and maybe slightly back. If you've got your legs out in front of you now, if you prefer to have them out in front of you, the right hand just goes to the side of the left thigh instead. As you breathe in, you're going to look forward and sit up nice and tall. As you breathe out, you're going to do a little turn, a little twist to the left. As you breathe in, sit up nice and tall again. And as you breathe out, do another little turn to the left. Feeling a stretch in the back, not in the neck. If there's any tension in your neck, then turn to face the front a little bit more. To increase the stretch, you may like to place the back of your left hand on your lower back, reaching the fingertips round towards the waist. Take your awareness back to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then come back to centre. We're going to do the same on the other side. So, left hand goes towards the right knee and the right hand goes out to the side and slightly back. If you want to have your legs out in front of you, then the left hand just goes to the side of your thigh. Look forward as you breathe in and sit up nice and tall. As you breathe out, do a little twist to the right. As you breathe in, sit up nice and tall. And as you breathe out, do another little twist to the right. You might like to place the back of the right hand on the lower back, reaching the fingertips round towards the waist, just to increase the stretch a little bit more. But if it's uncomfortable, then take yourself back to centre. Breathing in and out through the nose. On your next breath in, come back to centre. Well done. All of our yogic twists are really good for the digestive system, and we get a nice stretch in the back as well. Next we're going to come into the seated cobbler's pose. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. You can either have your legs in a big diamond shape, or to increase the stretch, you could bring your heels a bit closer in towards the groin. You could come into a little forward bend to increase the stretch even more by taking the hands under the toes. So you lean forward a little bit, and then maybe take your elbows out towards the knees and put a little bit of pressure there to take the knees a bit further down towards the floor. You'll feel a strong stretch in your groin and inner thighs, and if it's too strong, make it easier. Take your legs back into the diamond shape. Or if this is uncomfortable, take yourself into a seated posture that's more comfortable. We're going to return to the Ujjayi breathing. So you're breathing in and out through your nose. slightly constricting the back of the throat. And making your breath sound like the waves of the ocean. So you might just want to visualize the shoreline, the waves lapping on the shoreline as you breathe in and out. We're going to come into a seated resting posture now. So we want to have both feet on the floor and the knees bent. You could either keep your knees together and hug them, bringing the chin down towards the chest, or you may like to take your feet a bit wider, and again you could hug the knees, or you could take your hands down towards your ankles and bring your chin down towards your chest, whichever is more comfortable. But just allow yourself to have a little rest. Lifting your head up slowly, we're going to come into Dandasana, the staff pose now. So we want to have the legs extended, the feet flexed, so the toes come towards you, and this just helps to engage the muscles in your legs. And then place your hands lightly to the side of you. And think about your posture. So you want to breathe in and sit up nice and tall. And you're going to stay in this upright position, imagining that your spine is like a staff. And start to take some deep breaths again, breathing all the way in through the nose and all the way out through the nose. As you breathe in, imagine energy coming up through the ground, travelling all the way up your spine to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, imagine that energy travelling back down your spine and into the ground. Continue to breathe in this way for a little bit longer. Feeling nice and grounded and strong in Dandasana, the staff pose. You could either stay in this position for a little while longer. You could take yourself back into the seated resting position if you want to have a little rest. For those that are happy to do a forward bend, we're going to stretch the hamstrings and the calf muscles. But if you'd rather not do that, take yourself into the seated resting position, which is also a forward bend, but it's a lot easier. So if you'd like to come into the forward bend from this position, take your hands onto your thighs. You could always place a bend in the knees if it becomes very strong for your hamstrings and calf muscles. You breathe in and sit up nice and tall. And as you breathe out, you're going to slide your hands a little bit down the legs towards your feet. This may be enough for you. Just stay here if it is. Or each time you breathe out, you could take your hands a little bit closer down towards your feet. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, sliding the hands a little bit closer down towards the feet. We're coming into the forward bend gradually, and you'll find that you'll feel a stretch in the hamstrings and the calf muscles. If you do find that your hands come down towards near the feet, you could take hold of your toes, but only do this if everything's feeling okay. Also be mindful of how your back is feeling. If you're feeling any discomfort in your back, then go into a more upright position. Breathe into the stretch, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. On the next breath in, slide your hands back up the legs and take yourself into that seated resting posture again. Chin down towards the chest, hugging the knees, allowing yourself to have a rest. You may like to stay in this position for a little while longer. For those that are happy to take their legs wide, we're going to come into the wide-legged straddle posture now. So we're going to place the hands just to the side or slightly behind so that you can sit up nice and tall again, thinking about your posture. If this is too strong for the legs, you could bring your feet a bit closer together again. Or you could place a bend in the knees. If you want to increase the stretch, then you flex the feet, the toes come towards you. This just increases the stretch. So we'll take some nice deep breaths here, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Imagining there's a thread pulling from the crown of your head, so you're sitting up nice and tall. Now you could either stay in this position, you could take yourself back to the seated resting posture if you want to have a rest, or if you're happy to do a little bit of a forward bend, we're going to stir the porridge, and you can take the bend as deep as you want to. So take hold of your imaginary spoon and start to do some little circles. This might be enough for you. Try and keep grounded. You may want to make those circles a bit bigger. And to increase the stretch even more, we're going to do big circles. Breathing out, we're going to lean forwards. And breathing in, complete the circle. Breathing out, lean forwards. In, complete the circle. So you do what feels right for you. If this is too strong, you could go back to making little circles. And then start to make those circles smaller again. So you're slowly coming back to center. Okay, same in the other direction. So we do little circles to begin with. And then maybe you could start to make those circles bigger again. And bigger. And reaching forward as you breathe out and breathing in as you complete the circle. Yoga's not competitive, so you always do what feels right for you. Start to make those circles smaller again. And come back to center. Okay. Coming into your seated resting posture again. Allow yourself to have another little rest. You may like to stay resting in this posture. For those that are happy to come into the boat pose, make make sure that you've got room behind you. We're coming into a bit of a balance and you might roll back, so make sure there's nothing behind you to fall back onto. And at any point, if it becomes too strong, then you come back to your seated resting posture. We're going to be working on the core muscles now, the abdominal muscles and the lower back muscles. So I'll give you some options. And for those that like to use a strap, if you haven't got a strap, you could use a belt or a tie. So first of all, you're going to take your hands underneath the thighs, bring your heels a little bit closer towards your buttocks and lean back, taking your feet off the floor. Now you could just stay here. You could tap your toes on the floor, alternatively, tapping the toes. We're just starting to work on the abdominal muscles and the lower back. That might be enough for you, or you could raise your legs so that your shins are parallel to the floor in the half boat pose. And you could either stay here with your hands supporting your legs, or you could take your hands away from your legs and have the palms facing each other, half boat pose. You'll really start to feel it now. For those that want to go another step further, and I won't be demonstrating it for very long, you can straighten the legs. It's much easier actually if you've got a strap, because you can place the strap behind the backs of the feet and come either into the half boat pose or the full boat pose, and the strap makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to stay here for a little while. So we're breathing in and out through the nose. And when you're ready to come out of it, take yourself back to the half boat pose, lower the feet back to the floor. If you've used a strap, just pop it to the side of you and come into the seated resting posture again. Allow yourself to have another little rest. Lifting your head up slowly. Well done. That completes our seated yoga posture section. If you want to go on to the next section, I'll be coming into tabletop. Or if you feel as though you've done enough, then take yourself into Shavasana, have a little rest before you start your day again. So we're just going to finish by saying Namaste, which just means the light in me salutes the light in you. Namaste. Take care, keep safe, and hopefully see you again soon.